So, what shall we talk about today? Should we talk about how I'm a Gemini? You know what that means. Tell me what that means. Or that I am part man, part machine.
That is right. I am like Darth Vader.
Am I Darth Vader? Nah, man. We're here to talk about games. Mad Mikey Gaming. G'day, all you mad gamers. Mad Mikey here with the Monday edition of Getting to Know Mad Mikey, the show where I let you into my world a bit more just to let you guys know a bit about me, what I'm about, and everything else. Now, don't forget, guys, if you like gaming, tell your mother, tell your father, tell your brother, tell your sister, tell your cousins, tell your friends, because they might like gaming. All right, guys. So in today's edition, I put out an Instagram the other day, just to do a bit of a Q&A session today. So we got 3 replies to that one. So we'll get to that towards the end of the show. But first off, I want to talk about the monkey in the room, or the elephant, and that is the Nintendo press conference. So Nintendo came out and they did a big press conference about the new Nintendo Switch. In the intro, you will see that he's a Gemini. What did that mean? That means that sometimes I've got some different opinions on a lot of things, and they do sort of, play off of each other. So Nintendo came out, and I watched the whole conference from start to finish, and I've got to say, I absolutely loved it. I loved the actual system. I loved the Joy-Cons. I love the system as a whole. And it was only after the conference that when everything came out, everything was there, that the cracks in the holes of the whole thing sort of started, just sort of showing. So it was amazing that you can pick it up, you can take it out, you can go and play. That's all fine. That's not really for me. But the system as a whole looked amazing. The lineup of games, all the RPGs, all the new games and everything like that they were showing looked fantastic. Now, on the minus side of everything there, I was not a fan of ARMS or 1-2 Switch. From what I understand and what I've seen about 1-2 Switch, it is the fact that it is like your sort of Wii Sports game. But I think that a game like ARMS, I think you need to really put that in a compilation game like a Wii Sports, and they're not going to. They're going to be putting that out as a single player game. It's not for me. Like it's one of those games where I think that you'll find that it was fun at the start, but then as time goes by, it's not going to be that fun. It might be a good workout though, which would be good on the arms, And but the RPG games, Zelda Breath of the Wild looks absolutely fantastic. The new Mario Odyssey, I do not understand the hate behind that game. I think it looked absolutely incredible. I love the fact that there were all these different worlds. So it's got a bit of a mix of Galaxy. It's got a bit of a mix of Nintendo Mario 64. And it's got a bit of a mix of Sunshine. So that's a plus for me. I don't care about if it's what everybody wanted or whatnot. That game really jumped out at me, and I'm really looking forward to Odyssey at the end of the year, if it comes out at the end of the year. And in terms of the games and everything like that, their lineup on the bad side looks about as awesome as what the Wii U has been producing every year. You're probably going to have a couple of good games coming out this year, but not many of them. So just for starters, I mean, the launch titles, you have Zelda Breath of the Wild, which is going to make a ton if a lot of people are actually buying this system. And then that's where things just go downhill, unfortunately. You've got 1-2 Switch, which will probably sell more than it should. And then you've got games like your Skylanders and Just Dance 2017. So these are all games, and it's the same thing when the Wii came out. There was a lot of ports from previous systems that were coming in. I really absolutely love the fact that Ubisoft is always in on a lot of things. When EA showed up at the conference, I'm like, oh, about time, pricks, But I think it's good that they're going to be there this time, hopefully more than a year, because if you guys do remember at the beginning of the Wii U, they were there for the first year of the Wii U, but when then sales weren't topping as much as they want, they just abandoned ship straight away. It's not the first time, if you look back in history, in terms of with the Sega Dreamcast, they just didn't want to support the Sega Dreamcast because they didn't do what they wanted them to do, which was, I think it was DVD media. And enough about the games. In terms of the hardware, I can't believe that they've done it again and they're only putting 32 gig of memory on the actual system. I understand in terms of cost cutting and whatnot, but it didn't hit that sweet spot that everybody was expecting. Everybody was expecting about sort of $249 US, which would roughly then sort of come back to maybe around sort of 400 Australian and whatnot. So we're actually hitting 469 US. It's $299. I don't understand how they work that out. I mean, we're not buying it at $299 off the Americans. We're going to be buying it at cost price from the suppliers. So they're not. There's a markup in between there somewhere. I mean, people in America just don't pay taxes, and that's the markup for the company. No, the company's actually got to make money. So, as I said, I don't understand the price, but hey, I'm going to pay it because I'm actually really looking forward to this. But, I mean, you're going to have to pay the $469 if you're from Australia. And then you're going to have to go out and buy an SD card because also, if you buy Breath of the Wild on their digital store, that's going to take up 40% of your hard drive space. That's one game. That's the one must-own game. And if you get it digitally, it's going to take up almost half of your hard drive space, not including, obviously, the OS. So in terms of with the Nintendo, I was happy, I was sad. It's just the way Nintendo go. I mean, they give us region-free gaming, which we've been asking for forever. It just seems like they give and then they take, or they just take sort of thing. Because I went to go pre-order the Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, the Master Edition, and I pre-ordered it, everything was fine there. But then the day after, they scaled it down to the limited edition was only available in Australia. So we're actually getting everything that's in that Master one, except for the cover for the tablet version of the Switch. Now, if that's the way it's going to be, it's the way it's going to be. But the price remains the same. That's for me. I'm going to be complaining about that. Don't worry about it. Probably won't get anywhere, but you know what? We've got to try because I think that's absolutely ridiculous that we're getting less, but we're still getting charged the same. That's just crazy to think of. But that's generally the majority of my thoughts on the Switch and all the information that came out over the weekend. If you've got more questions about it or want to know something that I've missed, please comment in the comments below, and I'll do my best to sort of cover that and whatnot. So, without further ado, we'll get to the question. Now, the first question that I got was off of Samuel_Spiteri12345. Samuel has actually got his own YouTube channel. So I do recommend that you guys check him out. He's got a nice little vlog where he's just going about life and he's putting out some really entertaining stuff about that. So I'll actually link his YouTube in the description below. If you guys go check him out, tell him Mad Mikey sent you. He'll love it. But yes, he does put out a lot of good stuff and entertaining. I actually really enjoy watching his stuff. So his question was, what is your favorite game on the Xbox or the PlayStation? Now, if you know me, Samuel, you'd know you probably don't have to ask that question, but it is the Mass Effect series. Mass Effect just blew me away when it first got announced, and as soon as it came out, I will continue playing that until my dying days, I think. It's one of those games that you'd take with you on a desert island. If it was just you and you have to take 3 things, I would take Mass Effect Trilogy with me because there's so many different ways that you can play it. It's an adult-based game, so decisions matter, and it doesn't sort of sugarcoat everything. It's an amazing game if you're into RPGs. On the flip side of that, if I wasn't allowed to take that one, it would probably be the Prince of Persia series, Sands of Time. And longtime follower, Uncharted Solid Snake, who I do sort of chat to a lot. Guys, please follow these guys on Instagram or whatnot. If you do sort of have an interest about, I love the stuff that Uncharted Solid Snake puts out. It's constantly loving all the pictures that he puts out. So his question was, how do you feel about many PlayStation 4, Xbox One games still not hitting that 60 frame rate? not counting remasters. For example, Horizon Zero Dawn, Gravity Rush 2 are all capped at 30, whereas Nier Automata is at 60. Either Platinum are compromising super detailed visuals, or they just have the magic touch with 60 frames per second. What do you think about the frame rates? Now, if you're on PC and things like that, yes, frame rates do play key. That's why a lot of people do have the master race. When it comes to like your PlayStation 4 and your Xbox, I think that's the reason why people have complained about the generation jump, because we used to get 1080p on the 360 and the PlayStation 3. So what was the point in jumping? Yes, it had to do with graphics, but there needed to be that really big, you needed that 60 frames per second. When it comes to Platinum, I mean, Platinum have been putting out 60 frames per second games for so long. I think I don't understand why they can continually do it. I mean, if you look at that against like Zero Dawn, the graphics aren't as good, but don't get me wrong, Nier Automata is a fantastic looking game. And if they're pulling that out, I don't know how they are actually doing it. Myself, yes, 60 frames looks absolutely amazing. Is it a must? No, it really isn't. I mean, even the Wii U puts out 60 frames per second on some games, but you just don't notice it these days. Unless you've got a keen eye for it, where my eyes are getting a bit old these days. It's not really a deal breaker for me. Yes, I can see it when it's there, but where do you need it? You need it in first-person shooter games at the end of the day. So once they start hitting it at 60 frames per second in shooters, that's when they'll work out how to get it everywhere else. Otherwise, I just don't think the hardware's there just yet. That's why they're still bringing them out, all your new ones. That's why PlayStation 4 Pro, that one can hit 60 frames. That's got 60 frame options on there. And I think you'll find the same with the Xbox Scorpio. They were just giving in to the game developers' demands when they bought out the 1 and the 4. They just needed to make the developers happy so that they could bring out awesome looking games across the board on PC and consoles. And the last question was from Synergy Stitches. Now, she's a new one. So, hi Synergy, nice to meet you. Her question was, what old school game would you love to play again, but remastered with today's graphics, etc.? But you can't choose Crash Bandicoot, as they are already doing that one. Can't wait. So you're obviously a big Crash Bandicoot fan. I never really had a PlayStation 1 when Crash was big, so I'm not overly hyped about that game. But if I had to pick one game to be remastered, you know, I'd really want the Nintendo classic Metal Gear Solid game to be remastered. I've never actually played it, but I would love for them to come back and be able to sort of have your Metal Gear Solid games just spanning across generations and be able to sort of play it all on one. Not that I'm the biggest Metal Gear Solid fan in the world. They did remake the PlayStation 1 version for the GameCube, which was a huge step up, which was absolutely amazing. So I'd really like the people that missed out on that origin story on the Nintendo to be able to have a chance to actually play that game again in today's graphics, because it's wacky, it's kooky, even for their time. So that's something that I'd really want to play. That's it for today, guys. I appreciate the questions from the guys who asked. Hope you like. Don't forget to give us a thumbs up, because I know you got thumbs. I just want one. Just one. Don't forget to comment in the comments below if there's any questions or if there's anything else that you want to talk about. But guys, thank you so much. I hope you have a great day. Bye, guys.